Let's go Ravens! The heat is rising behind the scenes at the Baltimore Ravens, and I've got some serious updates you won't want to miss. We all know the Ravens are laser-focused on getting to the Super Bowl this year, and for that to happen, John Harbaugh needs a stacked, high-performing roster from top to bottom. I'm going to break everything down for you, but before we dive in, make sure you've already smashed that like button, but only if you're a real Ravens fan. If you've been riding with the Ravens for over 20 years, drop a comment saying, "Go Ravens! My heart bleeds purple and black." Ardarius Washington has officially signed his restricted free agent tender with the Ravens, locking him in for another year at just over $3.2 million. What's significant here isn't just the number, though it's a solid payday, but the message it sends. No other team stepped up with an offer sheet, which meant Washington's only option was Baltimore. And instead of waiting it out or playing hardball, he signed that tender without hesitation. That move says a lot about his mindset, his dedication, and his understanding of where he stands in this defense. Washington had a rocky start in the NFL due to injuries, but last season he came through in a big way. Don't let his 5'9" inches or 5'10" inches frame fool you. He plays like he's 7'5". He embodies that play like a Raven mentality. Now, here's where things get spicy. While Washington is locked in for the upcoming season, the draft looms large, and many are expecting the Ravens to pick a safety within their first two selections. That tells us a couple of things. 1, the Ravens might still be looking for a long-term solution at the position. 2, Washington might be on a prove-it year, a bridge between now and whatever future plans the front office has. It's not just about Washington, though. The defense is going through a transformation. Roquan Smith, our rock at inside linebacker, is back and already putting in the work with Trenton Simpson. That relationship is going to be pivotal this season. Smith has been through the trenches, coming into the Ravens midseason a couple years ago and quickly learning the playbook alongside Patrick Queen. Now, Queen is gone, and it's Simpson's turn. He had his flashes, especially in that final regular season game against Pittsburgh. But let's be honest, he struggled for most of last year and eventually lost his starting role. This offseason, John Harbaugh made it clear he expects Simpson to step up. But here's the kicker. Roquan Smith isn't just talking about chemistry with Simpson, he's actively working on it. They're building that bond, that on-field rapport that can make or break a linebacker duo. This is huge because when Roquan and Queen were on the same page, the defense was dominant. If Smith and Simpson can find that same rhythm, the middle of the field could be locked down again. But let's not overlook the elephant in the room. The safety position last year was messy early on. Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson didn't bring the consistency needed, and it showed in the defense's performance. When Kyle Hamilton and Ardarius Washington finally became the starting duo, everything started clicking. Suddenly, the secondary had bite. The question now is, can the Ravens count on that pairing long-term? Or are they drafting another safety to prepare for life after Washington?
Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum, by the way, are both chilling when it comes to their contract situations. They know their payday is coming. It's just a matter of when. Both made it clear in pressers that they're not worried. And why would they be? Linderbaum has become an elite center, a stable force on an offensive line that used to rotate players like musical chairs. Hamilton? He's arguably the best safety in football. Last year, he played more traditional deep coverage than usual, but we all know his true position is baller. The man can line up anywhere, deep, in the slot, in the box, and make an impact. The Ravens would be smart to lock those two down early, before the market shifts and drives their price up even further. But what's cool is how relaxed both players are. They know their value, and they trust the process. That kind of confidence and maturity is what championship rosters are built on. And then there's the depth conversation. With Malik Harrison heading to Pittsburgh and Chris Board landing with the Giants, the inside linebacker room is thinner than ever. Jake Pummel has been signed, but he's primarily a special teams guy. All eyes are now on Trenton Simpson to step up. His opportunity is right there, staring him in the face. The door is wide open. It's up to him to walk through it. So Ravens fans, there's a lot happening right now that's going to shape not just the upcoming season, but the future of this franchise. Washington's return, Simpson's development, the future of Hamilton and Linderbaum, it's all interconnected. And with the draft around the corner, the next piece of this puzzle could fall into place very soon. But that's just the beginning. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the Ravens bringing back Ardarius Washington? Do you see him as a long-term piece or just a temporary fix? Go Ravens! Let's go Ravens! The saga continues, and things are only getting more intense as we get closer to the draft and the new season. In the first part, we broke down the return of Ardarius Washington, the importance of his role, and how players like Trenton Simpson and Kyle Hamilton are shaping the core of this Ravens defense. Now it's time to dive even deeper into the layers of what's unfolding inside this team, because what's happening now is going to define whether this squad finally gets over that Super Bowl hump. Let's pick back up with Washington. Signing the restricted tender is a business move, sure, but it's also a trust play. He's betting on himself in Baltimore, the only team willing to offer him a chance right now. And that means he's got something to prove, both to the organization and to the rest of the league. He's playing for his next contract, whether that ends up being with the Ravens or elsewhere. And you better believe that puts some serious fire in his approach this year. Expect him to fly around the field with that same chip on the shoulder energy we saw last season. That fearless edge, that's what makes him dangerous. And remember, this is all happening while the Ravens are expected to draft a safety early. You don't make a move like that unless you're preparing for change. Maybe they love Washington's heart, but they want more range. Or maybe they're worried about depth, injuries, or just want to future-proof the position. Either way, if the Ravens use one of their top 2 picks on a safety, it tells us that Washington might not be in the long-term plans. But don't count him out just yet. He could very well flip the script with a standout season. Then there's the inside linebacker situation. Roquan Smith is already a certified leader in the locker room, and his partnership with Trenton Simpson is going to be one of the most scrutinized relationships this offseason. Harbaugh has said he expects Simpson to be a starter again, but expectations only matter if they're backed up by performance. We saw the flashes. We saw the potential. But potential alone doesn't win games. Simpson needs to show consistency, control, and most importantly, growth. The fact that Smith is working with him, helping him build that mental and physical edge, is a game changer. It's like having a cheat code, a former All-Pro guiding you through every read, every adjustment, every misstep. And if Simpson absorbs that knowledge and brings his own explosiveness to the table, this could quietly become one of the best linebacker duos in the league. But that if still looms large. He's got to seize the opportunity now, especially with the depth at the position taking a hit after Harrison and Board's departures. On the offensive side, the Ravens might not be making headlines this week, but what's happening behind the scenes is just as important. Tyler Linderbaum is the rock in the middle of the O-line. Drafting a center in the first round doesn't always get fans hyped, but Linderbaum has proven exactly why that pick was a home run. He's brought stability and intelligence to the heart of the offense, something that was missing for years. His connection with Lamar Jackson has been seamless, and his ability to read defenses and anchor against pressure has helped this unit thrive. And then there's Kyle Hamilton. Super duper Kyle. Last year he was forced into a more traditional safety role, but we all know that's not his ceiling. He's a Swiss Army knife, someone who can disrupt from any level of the defense. And now, with the right system, with more stability around him, and hopefully better health across the board, Hamilton is set to take yet another leap. Now it's your turn, Ravens flock. What do you think about all this? Should the Ravens draft a safety early even after bringing back Ardarius Washington? Is Trenton Simpson ready to be that guy next to Roquan? And how would you feel if someone like Jalen Ramsey actually landed in Baltimore? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't go anywhere, we've got more to break down, including potential draft targets, under-the-radar roster battles, and some surprise names that could make an impact this year. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the video on the screen now to keep the Ravens talk going strong.